Hello and welcome to the Championship predictions from the Honest Football Podcast. I'm Craig Savage, and with me, as always, is Mr. Daniel Cody. Today is our thoughts of who we think is going to go up to the Premier League and who is going to go down into League One.
And in addition to that, obviously this season we will be continuing our score predictions every match week from the Championship, and you'll have a very good chance to beat us because Luton Town aren't there, so we'll be watching a lot less Championship football than normal. But you can come and get involved starting next Wednesday and see if you can beat us in the comments with the scores.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's start off with obviously the bottom three in the Championship. Obviously, as previous videos, League One, League Two, and the National League, we're going to go for the bottom three, the playoff four, and the top two. So if your team's not been mentioned in this championship predictions, congratulations, you'll still be in the championship next season. Right, let's start off with the bottom three. Who's going to go down to League One? Let's start off with 24th place, and I don't think anyone will be surprised by our prediction.
No, and it's a team that our last video on the podcast channel was about because they've just appointed a new manager, their former assistant, and it is a mess at Sheffield Wednesday, isn't it? It really is a mess. We've said it on here probably since we started doing the podcast that Chansiri every couple of years will do something to shoot himself in the foot. Happened in the COVID season where they ended up getting relegated after points deductions. They did it the summer after promotion with Darren Moore, had that fiasco with Cisco, and then Danny Roll had to save them. And now Danny Roll's gone, and well, who knows what to do this season with Sheffield Wednesday because look, while Danny Roll didn't cover himself in glory in the way he handled himself, the common denominator again is the owner. He's becoming a constant theme, a constant problem. They've got a new season with, well, a stand closed, barely a team on paper at the moment. They're two or three injuries from putting out youth team players. They've got an assistant manager who's had a pretty poor managerial career, is now in charge with no championship experience. And it just seems inevitable, doesn't it? From pushing for the playoffs last January, not getting back to Danny Roll, they've got to the summer, they're in this position. It's crazy how quickly it's fallen apart again. So I think us and pretty much everyone will be in agreement with Sheffield Wednesday in 24, as sad as it is for a massive club.
Yeah, I've gone for Sheffield Wednesday in 24th. That's it's pretty embarrassing. Yeah, you've nailed everything on the head, really. I cannot for the life of me how this is continuing. It's just embarrassing. And what does it have to do it take for someone to get someone out of the club? It doesn't surprise me. Sheffield Wednesday are miles behind. They can't train. They have to probably drive to their first game, which is away in their own cars. It's just pathetic. It's non-league stuff. So it's very embarrassing for a great club like Sheffield Wednesday and for Hillsborough as well. So see a whole empty stand which says Chansiri is pathetic, and they'll go down quite quickly to League One. So yeah, 24th.
The only hope is a takeover, but even that to
I
get
can't
done
see that
before the end
happening.
of
I
August, it's
can't
too
see that
quick.
happening. Can't see that happening. Sorry, it sucks. It does suck. I don't want any club to be like that. Anyway, let's start with 20. Well, let's go to 23rd place.
Well, to be honest, there's been a few rumblings off the pitch here this summer as well, and it's another one where it's a little bit weird. It's another manager with no championship experience, and it's been a strange old summer. I've gone maybe controversial again, but for the side that stayed up thanks to Luton's collapse on the final day last season, I've gone for Hull City. And again, you have to say very similarly, okay, more on the pitch than off it, but how can you fall so quickly? A year and a half ago, they were sacking, well, not even that, just over a year ago, they were sacking Liam Rosenior for finishing seventh, their highest finish since they got relegated from the Premier League. And I just don't understand. They had the worst home record in the Championship last year. They scored the least goals in the Championship last year. We said here last summer when they appointed Tim Walter it was a stupid decision. It proved that he didn't last long. Ruben Sellés, look, it wasn't exciting, but he did enough. He made them solid. He kept them up. He's then gone and has got a promotion to a higher club. And it kind of tells you the story that Rossini's leaving, that Sellés, they're both sacked and they're both going to clubs in better positions. It tells you all you need to know about what they've done at Hull City. They've lost a big centre half in Alfie Jones, who's gone to Borough, who might get a mention later on. It's been a little bit weird and quiet in terms of the transfer window. Got done a little bit late on. Semi Ajayi has now come in, which I think will hopefully help a little at the back. Keeping Puerta was a really nice deal at the start of the summer, but the reason I've put them there compared to the others is I just don't trust the owner not to chop and change. I just think if it's a slow start, we'll see another manager in October, another one in February, and then you're never going to get any continuity. So based on that, the fact that they're so trigger happy, I just think that there's no stability at the club and they're going to be relegation contenders again. And it's a shame because they were in a great position under Liam Rossini. If they'd gone one more year with him, they probably would have been in the playoff places. As it is, I think next season he might be in League One. And they were fortunate not to last season, apart from Luton collapsing and letting in five on the final day.
Well, yeah. I've gone for Oxford United in 23rd. It's a tough one at the Championship this season. There's a good few teams that could go down. But Oxford, I don't think they recruited well this summer. I don't know if there's the money's dried up a little bit. Obviously, I've been off the field issues with trying to get a new stadium, which that didn't planning permission didn't go at all well. The only saving grace is they've got a very experienced Championship manager in Gary Rowett,
Yeah.
but they haven't pushed on. They haven't. They've done brilliantly well to stay in the Championship last season. But they haven't progressed in signing the right players that they probably need. Few have obviously gone, and I feel that they might come short this season, and the classic second season syndrome might be for them. 22nd place, coach.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was torn between probably three teams here, if I'm being honest, and then two that I've struggled to decide between for a long time. So the third of them was Preston, who I've ruled out because they've struggled for a while, but they've signed a few established names that I think will just about get them over the line. And then I'm between your 23rd, which is Oxford, and Pompey, because for the similar reasons, both of them probably not had as productive a summer as I thought. And you've got Oxford, who really struggled away from home a lot of last season. Pompey had the worst away record in the league, ship goals for fun. I've found it so hard to pick between the two of them. But I've edged for Gary Rowett. I just can't back Gary Rowett to get relegated. I know he did when he was at Birmingham, but he was only there a few games and his points per game rate was brilliant. I just think they might do a bit more later in the summer. So I've gone for Pompey in the end in 22nd place. They had a terrible defensive record last season. Most of their improvements in the summer weirdly have been attacking players last year. I did think, look, Colby Bishop missed the first 3 months of last season. When he came back in, he was absolutely flying for them and they ended up pulling away quite comfortably in the end. But although John Massinio's done a wonderful job, he continues to deliver results with Pompey. I just think they're going to need a lot more defensive improvements if they're going to compete. John Swift has come in, which going forward will help them out, but 14 points on the road last year, 50 goals conceded away from home. I think it's between them and Oxford, and I've by 1% gone for Pompey, but could change with a few signings, couldn't it?
John Mourinho is the only manager from last season's Championship that started as in the Championship, the only manager to survive.
Yeah, it's
That sums
bonkers,
up
isn't it?
the crazy, crazy world of the Championship. My 22nd place is your 23rd in Hull City. I just feel like this is deja vu all over again. Obviously, you said that obviously Rossini going and done well, and they brought in Walter, and it's same with Sellers going. And I thought, okay, yes, they got away with it, not being bitter, but they did get away with it. And Sellers obviously came from Reading at the time, was a bit of a gamble. Yeah, I know these Sellers had games in the Premier League, but they were the games that I have watched whole, they were awful,
I mean,
absolutely awful.
I went to that whole Luton game at the end of March last season. You should have relegated both teams on the spot. They were both that bad, honestly. It was a terrible game of football.
Summed up by a terrible own goal.
Yes.
But yeah, I think how I think it's like the constant cycle. Sack the manager, hire a random manager, struggle, sack him, get someone else in, survive, sack him. So I think they are going to finish in 22nd place. Right, let's move up the table. Let's get to the playoffs. The playoffs in the Championship is always exciting. Let's start with your sixth place.
And my thought process on this, Craig, is there's always a wild card. There's always a wild card in the playoffs. So I have left out a few teams that will probably think they might be up there. Um, it's a bit of a tough one this season because all three of the promoted clubs from League One are really strong, as well as the relegated clubs. So you've actually got quite a large pool to choose from at the top end of the table, which is why the bottom was so hard. I've left out West Brom because of Ryan Mason having no experience and have not done quite enough business yet. I've left out Middlesbrough with Rob Edwards, which I'm not sure you will have done. I've left out Norwich City because they're losing their star attacking players. I've left out Coventry City in seventh place. And I've left out Bristol City, who made it last year too. And I've also left off Wrexham, which means I'll get the plug on Disney Plus this year rather than you, because you put them in and still got the stick, which was just
Yeah,
so great for me.
unbelievable.
But what I have done is thrown in a real wild card in sixth place, and I have gone for a manager who I think always overperforms. I've gone for Millwall to go sixth, and they're mid-table in the bookmakers, bottom half for a lot of them. But Alex Neil did so well last season when he joined the club. They almost got into the playoff mix then as well, despite the fact they didn't have a goal scorer. We saw how solid they were under Neil Harris. They built on that a little bit. They didn't have enough goals in the side, which they've tried to address permanently. They've added Josh Coburn now. They've got Luongo in, who will always pop up with the odd one from midfield. And now they've signed Alfie Doughty as well, who was set to be going to Middlesbrough, if you were to believe reports. And that's kind of why I've switched them around, because he is an assist machine at this level and was a key part of Luton's success from Championship to Premier League. The only caveat I'm putting on the Millwall top six push, though, is they have to keep Mihailo Ivanovic because he reminds me a little bit, a very different type of player, but it's the first time where I watched someone in the flesh live and went, wow, he's a bit like when we watched Gyökeres in the Championship, and you just think, what the hell's this player doing here? And I think Ivanovic is going to be one of those. He's been linked with Wolves and a couple of Premier League clubs. If they keep him, I think they might sneak in and surprise a few people because they're good at the back. They've added quality. I'm going to go for Millwall in sixth and I'm prepared to get some hopefully kind stick in the comments.
I'm going to go for Leicester City in sixth place, though. Not strong, Leicester City. I think I'm going by the name, really. They've still got some quality players in there, Leicester. Obviously, they haven't really signed anyone either. I know there's probably another points deduction that's going to come their way, and
Yeah.
they've still got enough quality in that Leicester team. Obviously, no Jamie Vardy. That's not helpful. No Dewsbury Hall this championship season. Martin Fuentes as well, coming from QPR. Big task for him. Very, very big task. It was a big task when he actually joined QPR in the first place and done well. It's a much bigger task. I don't think they're going to be that great, but I think they'll definitely be. I still think they'll be in the top six. Fifth place.
Fifth place, I've gone for a team for the same position I voted for them last season, or they finished a couple higher then. I've gone for Sheffield United. A new transfer model, which has had a lot of talk and obviously led to the loss of a manager, supposedly. A new manager in Ruben Selles, who we've talked a little bit about already. My worry about Sheffield United, at the end of the season, I would have had them as a shoe-in for the top two this year. But then, unlike Leeds, who kept Daniel Farker after a 90-point season, progressed forward again, Sheffield United didn't stick with Wilder. They've now gone for a manager who's done decent jobs at Reading and Hull, but has never really had a team capable of competing at the top. So we don't know what he's going to be like in that situation. They have, though, recently signed Louis Barry, who I think is an excellent addition if they can keep him fit,
Yeah.
add those goals. They've lost Vinicius Souza in midfield, which is a big loss. So it's now really crucial they keep hold of Gus Harmer, who's been linked with a move away. If they lose both of them, that would worry me a little in the middle of the park. We know the managerial change is a gamble, but he's done solid jobs. I think he'll do enough with what is clearly a top six side on paper. Their performances were poor towards the end of last season, but I'm intrigued to see how he gets on. I think he'll make them solid. I don't think they'll be as consistent as they were for the most part last season, but I'll still have them in my top six. So Sheffield United in fifth.
I've gone for Coventry in fifth, and it's a bit of a gamble. For Coventry, Frank Lampard does have a pretty decent record in the championship. Done brilliant well to obviously get back into the playoffs because obviously the slow start they had under Mark Robbins. Obviously that playoff heartbreak again. They're starting to creep in with that playoff heartbreaks last minute that header from Dan Ballard. If they can keep some of their players, had you right, if he can keep him fit, get him in the goals. And they have got not a bad squad.
They've been up
Coventry,
there 3 years in a row, haven't they?
yeah, they're not a bad side. But they just got to be consistent. I think a bit more consistent this season. Obviously, yeah, a couple more recruitments. I think Coventry will be all right. Fourth place.
Yeah, obviously I had Coventry close, didn't quite put them in, but fourth, this is where I think we get controversial. Although they are one of the favourites for promotion, weirdly, and I've gone for a team that came up from League One last season. I've gone for Birmingham City because you can't accuse them of not having a go. They spent championship money in League One. They won it incredibly comfortably. They've gone for it again with ridiculous standout signings. Damari Gray's coming in on the left. Kyogo's coming as well, who was starring at Celtic a couple of years ago. Both of them have checkered injury records, so it is going to be important to keep them fit. But I think they're going to be a real threat on the counter. And last time, I know we talked a lot about them sacking Eustace when they were in the top six then, and what obviously happened after, and all that's been talked about in the Prime documentary recently. But they didn't have that threat on the break. They weren't good away from home under Eustace. And now they've got those players who can just quickly turn over possession and create chances. So I think that's going to make a difference. They've got an excellent side. They're still going to have to deal with pressure. They're a side that have come up from League One and they're third favourites for promotion. So it's going to be a big ask. The manager's not been at this level before. He was obviously a novice last year. But they've got continuity within the club. It's a similar squad. It's the same manager. They've got momentum. You talked about the fact that so few clubs have got the manager they started last season with. I think that could be a benefit. So Birmingham City fourth for me, and I think pretty confident they'll make the playoffs.
I've gone for Sheffield United in fourth place. I still think Sellers is a gamble. I
Yeah,
don't think that's the right move. Yes, Sheffield United completely bottled it last season, tail end of last season, completely bottled it. And there's no point going, oh, well, Burnley and Leeds were great.
they
They
did get
were great.
92 points, Craig.
But they lost games when they shouldn't have lost games. They lost to Plymouth. They lost to Oxford at the wrong time. And that defeat to Leeds at the time obviously kind of did derail them a little bit. And it put second thoughts into Chris Wilder's mind. And they should have been outside in that playoff final as well. And obviously got to give Sunderland credit for bouncing back and obviously good luck in the Premier League. But Sheffield United for me should have been in the Premier League by now, this season, but they bottled it. Wilder's paid the price. I don't agree with it though. I still think Wilder should have given another chance. It will be a tough one, but I still think there's still enough quality in that Sheffield United side. I don't think they're going to start well, but they'll definitely be up there in fourth. Right, third place.
Well, third place, I've taken a little bit of a gamble. I've gone for a side you already mentioned, and that's Leicester City. But that is on the basis that they don't get a points deduction. If they do, I think they'll probably be at the other end of the playoff places, maybe even just slipping outside. Because, as you mentioned, it was a bit of an end of an era. Jamie Vardy's moving on. They've not quite got the same firepower and creative talent that they had last time they were in the Championship. However, Jordan Ayew will still pop up with goals at this level, I think. Patson Daka needs to have a big season. But I still think from defence to midfield, for the most part, they've probably got one of the strongest squads in the Championship. It is just the centre forward position that's the concern for me. It's a similar problem Marty Cifuentes ironically had at QPR last season, his former club. But I just think that the three that have come down are strong in what is a pretty weak championship overall. I think there's a lot of clubs where we talked about them in the manager specials all summer. There's so many clubs that have gambled. There's so much uncertainty about managers that haven't been at this level before. Marty Cifuentes has experience here. A lot of the players are still left over from the last promotion, and I know they had a poor season last year, but they avoid a points deduction. I think they'll be up there again. If they sign a goal scorer and avoid a points deduction, I could easily see them making the top two. So I've gone for Leicester in third, which I appreciate is a boring and safe choice.
I've gone for Birmingham in third place. It's going to sound really stupid here, but it wouldn't surprise me if they and
No,
still finish in the top three. I don't want that to happen. He's a young English coach, and I'm glad that a young English coach is doing well, and that's what you want. And I hope the American owners don't ruin it, don't spoil it. Obviously, they had Wayne Rooney.
you'd hope they
You'd
learnt from
hope,
Eustace.
I hope. They've signed really good players. You said Jay Stansford, obviously, yeah, it was a big one. They signed him for League One. He's going to be scoring for fun in the Championship for me. St Andrews is going to be rocking. The stands are full again. They've got the money. They're going to splash the cash. So comfortable third place, but not the top two. But let's do the playoffs in that. So you've got Leicester versus Millwall and Birmingham versus Sheffield United.
I have, and I have, as always, when we come into these episodes, forgotten to decide who was going to win it in advance. So I'm now going to have to do it live. Do you know what? I'm going to go for something spectacular here. I think Millwall shock Leicester. There we go. Let's get
Okay.
Millwall in the playoff final. I think that's going to be my wild call of the season. Sheffield United Birmingham is tough, and if I go for a Birmingham Millwall final, that is ballsy, isn't it? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for Birmingham Millwall. I think Birmingham by the end of the season and by the end of the transfer window, even I think Birmingham will probably be in a better position because I still think Sheffield United might lose one more. So I'm going to go for Birmingham versus Millwall as my playoff final. Can't have back to back again, can we? We had it 2 years ago with Ipswich.
I know.
But then I'm putting a new club in the Premier League, if not, aren't I?
And
So
that's what we want. We want new clubs in the Premier League.
it's my battle of brilliant manager against a club that has got
He's
momentum
what
and is on the up.
Alex Neil has done promotion via the playoffs before, so
He has multiple times. I don't think he's going to do it this time. I'm going to go for Birmingham City to do a double promotion. I genuinely don't know out of the playoffs. I think anyone could win it, but I'm going to go for Birmingham City in the final against Millwall in an ugly 1-0.
I've got Birmingham v Leicester and Sheffield United Coventry.
Oh,
I think Birmingham v Leicester, Sheffield United Coventry, Armour Derby.
oh, will it be? Will he be gone in 2 weeks?
Who knows? Does Sheffield United want more playoff heartbreak?
Well, it'd be
Does
heartbreak
Coventry
for
want
either of them, wouldn't it?
either? Because both records of playoff teams of for Sheffield United and Coventry recently have been horrendous. I think Coventry might sneak it. So it was that Birmingham Coventry final.
Oh,
I'm gonna go Birmingham. I don't agree with it. I don't think it'll happen, but I think Birmingham might nick it.
so we
I
we've
don't know
both
why.
gone for the team that we don't think's actually going to win it.
Yep, yep. We
Welcome
know
to
what
the
the
Honest Football Podcast.
right. Let's get to the top two. I think we both got the same top two, but it depends in what order.
Yeah, it's well, you can probably guess mine because I've gone with continuity throughout. So my second place is Southampton. As I mentioned before, we're seeing that gap now where sides going up and coming down are they're just yo-yoing between the divisions. They're almost their own separate little division. I know normally
Unless you're
one.
Luton,
Well, yeah, apart from Luton.
apart from
Um,
Luton.
I know there's normally one team who breaks in and surprises us, but Southampton for me, I've gone for second. The reason I've not put them top is because obviously they've got a manager who's not managed in England before, whereas the manager of the other club has been there and done it 2 seasons ago. It's been a quiet summer relatively for Southampton, which is to be expected. I know Will still isn't experienced here, but he is highly talked of and has done good jobs elsewhere. The one thing Southampton have got perhaps that the other two relegated clubs haven't so much is genuine championship firepower up front. You've got Cameron Archer who scored goals for fun with Borough a few years back. Armstrong, when they went up a couple of years ago, Southampton was flying, who's come back from his loan now. And new signing Damien Downs looks a threat as well. At the moment, they've still kept Tyler Diblin, who's had a lot of talk about him. So that's another bonus going forward. They've got a couple of gaps at the back where the likes of Bednarek and Walker Peters have moved on from their last promotion. And obviously Ramsdale's about to leave too. But they've got young players back from loan slot in. Ronnie Edwards should be able to step up the championship level. And I think they'll be in the battle for the top two. I, I suppose there could be a surprise team that go up there. But for me, the two at the top, I was relatively assured of when I picked them.
Yep, same. Southampton second. We'll still. I think it'll be fine. It will take time, but Southampton are very strong. Obviously, had an extremely poor season last season in the Premier League and nearly embarrassing themselves. So if they just need that get that winning run back together because they when they kept suffering from defeat after defeat, it does get to you, and it's still going to happen at the start of this season. They might get a few defeats here and there. It takes time. The fans to get 80 again, but then you don't really want to be into that momentum. Well, we got one win here, but we've got three more defeats, and same for the top team as well. Keep it tight, and that's the main thing for Southampton. Keep it tight, not concede silly goals like they did last season under Russell Martin, and they'll be all right. So yeah, definitely back in the Premier League for 26, 27. And no surprise, our number one team is Kieran McKenna's Ipswich Town.
It is absolutely, yes. And we've ended up with the same top two again. Last time we both predicted a team second, they got relegated. So apologies, Southampton fans. But Ipswich Town, top of the league. We did get that right last season with both of us as well. It's a similar theme, though, for them and for Leicester, is just how are they going to replace the goals? Because obviously Ipswich have lost Liam Delap, who was a huge force for them in the Premier League last season. But they've got a lot of the attacking talent they had last time they were at this level when you consider some of the signings they bought last year who maybe didn't play as regularly or didn't shine as much in the Premier League. Sammy Szmodics 2 years ago for Blackburn was absolutely brilliant, top scorer in the division. Jayden Philogene on loan at Hull in that season where Rossini finished seventh, brilliant. Jack Clark at Sunderland a couple of years ago, sensational. So they've still got that attacking talent at this level. It's just gelling them in again, isn't it? Getting those players into the team. They've added a bit of experience with Ashley Young. They've got quality everywhere. So for me, I just didn't see any other obvious contender. So probably the same as you. I just went
Yeah,
Ipswich are a safe bet.
yeah, it's switch for me. As a solid coach, I don't want it to say it's a deja vu balloon. I really don't want that, but I think Kim McKenna will handle it a lot better than what obviously Rob Edwards did this last season. All right, I think
He was
I've
there for
opened.
longer before as well, to be fair.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, yeah. So he knows the club. He knows he's got that style of play that he wants. It didn't quite work out in the Premier League, but they were good. They were still entertaining to watch. Oh, Bene hopefully be back soon as
Yeah.
well. It's another attacking outlet. Leif Davis at left back, and they've got a solid goalkeeper as well. So yeah, it should be fine. They'll be flying up this league again, and they'll be back in the Premier League. Right, let's have a quick recap what we have predicted for the Championship in 25-26 season. And let's start off in the bottom three, finishing last. We have both gone for Sheffield Wednesday, 23rd place. Daniel Cody's gone for Hull City. I've gone for Oxford United. 22nd place, Cody's gone for Pompey, and I've gone for Hull. In the top six, in sixth place, Cody's gone for Millwall. I've gone for Leicester. Fifth place, Sheffield United for Codes, and fifth place is Coventry City for myself. Fourth place, Birmingham City for Codes, Sheffield United for myself. Third place, Leicester City and Birmingham City for myself. We've both gone for Birmingham to win the playoffs at Wembley May next year. And the top two for both of us, we've both gone for Southampton in second and Ipswich first. And those are predictions for the Championship 25-26 season. Do you agree with us or disagree with us? Let us know in the comments. Please be nice and give us your predictions. What's going to happen for the rest of this season? Don't forget, Cody's going to do the weekly Championship predictions. They are back again this season. And don't forget, we've got shorts of League One. Myself and Charlie will do alternative weeks. Like this video, subscribe to Honest Football Podcast. You can follow us on the socials, on TikTok at Honest Football Podcast. We'll see you in the Championship season.